Hi, and hello. My name is Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg. Let's see. Granny squares are very iconic of crocheting. Square peg is from a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, which means it doesn't fit. And that's kind of me. I crochet, but it don't quite exactly fit. I do things my own way. So I put the two together and it became Granny Square Peg. And of course, my name is Jenny. I am the crocheter here, the creator. Today is Thursday, January 20th, 2022, and I have a crochet journey I need to go on, and I would like to share it with everybody. Mid to late 2020, I damaged my rotator cuff, and it was a very severe tear in the cuff. Now, it could heal naturally on its own, but it would take time. It would take months for it to heal. So I decided to do that instead of doing surgery. So let's see, I had a cortisone injection to get it to relax so I can, because I had no movement in my arm. I had no movement at all in my shoulder. Not long after we realized that I had torn the rotator cuff, I developed a cyst right here in the muscle. That's called a lipoma, and it's sitting on a nerve. So this is the arm I hold my yarn with, and crocheting had become very painful. And I'm the kind of person who would crochet 4, 6, 8, 10 hours a day. It's what I do, or what I did. So the pain was excruciating, and I couldn't crochet anymore. So by, I want to say early 2021, I was in the process of putting down my crochet hook. I was in the middle of 2 crochet alongs that I couldn't complete. I was started a blanket for my niece that is in the very early stages, and I wasn't able to finish it. And I had to make a baby blanket for a new baby in the family, and I couldn't even do that. I actually went to Etsy and bought one from a shop on Etsy, because I couldn't, for the first time in 40 years, couldn't make a blanket. And that's what my crochet specialty is. It's blankets, and I don't do just baby blankets like everybody does baby blankets because they're small and they're quick and they're easy. For me, it was always bigger blankets. I did throw size, twin size, full size. I've even made a king size on occasion. So blankets I'm a blanket maker along with being a crocheter. But I had to give it up because I needed to give my rotator cuff time to heal. So here it is a year later, and I am now just picking up my hook to see if I can crochet. But while my rotator cuff is better and it did heal, it's not 100%, but it's 98, 99%. It's good. But the lipoma is still in my arm, and it's still touching a nerve, so that is still causing me problems. Now, it's not excruciating like it was a year ago, but it's enough to the point where I can only crochet maybe 10 or 15 minutes at a time. So in the last year, I had to put away all my stuff, and I have a lot of crochet stuff. I have a lot of yarn that I bought and haven't been able to use. I have dozens of crochet hooks. We've only got 2 hands. We only use 1 hand to hold that hook, but for some reason we have dozens of hooks, right? That's just how it is. So I have my grandma's set that she gave me, a few of my mom's, and a few that my husband and the kids bought for me over the years. I plan on keeping them, but the rest of them I plan on selling. All the yarn that I have that is brand new that I haven't used, I plan on selling. I'm going to go through my blankets, and the ones that are completely finished, I'm going to be selling those. And the ones that are so close to being done, I'm either going to try and finish them myself. It'll take me time since I can only crochet for about 15 minutes at a time. And then any blankets where it's a lot of work that needs to be done, I'm going to talk to my mom and see if my mom can help me out because she crochets too. So I plan on selling everything I own because I will never be able to get back to it at a full time like I was. I just, the pain is too much. So this is my journey in crocheting after 40 years of letting it go. So I'm selling the yarn, I'm selling my hooks, all the blankets that I've made, and I have a bunch of crochet books with patterns. I plan on selling them too. Let's see. I have a crochet stitch dictionary, which the stitch dictionaries are my favorite books because you can take that stitch and do whatever you want with it. You can make it as big, as small, and as long and as wide as you want. And I love the stitch dictionaries. They are my favorite. And I have multiple ones because they're all different by different people and different generations and different decades. So stitch dictionaries are my favorite. And then I have ones that have real patterns in them. These are mandalas, true crochet. I have a whole bunch of crochet books, magazines, pamphlets, leaflets, my own notes for the stuff that I created myself. Here, wait, I got one for you. This is an oldie. From Leisure Arts, 40 favorite ripple afghans. Wait, I will never be able to do any of these anymore. Yeah, this one says 2002. So I've got some vintage books for sure. So this is my introduction to who I am, where I'm at, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my backstory right here, right now. And it's going to be a little bit of a longer introduction video because I like to talk. I have another YouTube channel. I started it back in October of 2021. I started a booktube channel because I had two loves in my life, and that was reading books and crocheting. So I can still read books till my little heart is content, and I had started a channel, and I joined the YouTube/booktube community, and I love it. So that's what you're seeing behind me right now. It's my booktube setup. My lights. Let's see. I am 50 years old. I started crocheting in 1982. So I was 9 years old, but I grew up with crocheting. I was surrounded by it because my mom crochets and her sister, which is my aunt, my grandmom, and my great-grandmom. So I am a fourth generation crocheter. It is in my blood. It is what we do. All my grandmom's sisters, if they didn't crochet, they knit, and if they didn't knit, they did other kinds of crafts, sewing and whatnot. So, I mean, I come from a long line of crafters and at least 4 generations of crocheters. My grandmom is the one that took care of my crochet lessons. She is the one who taught me everything I know, and I have forgotten so much of what she's taught me. My knowledge, I don't want to sound arrogant, but my knowledge is big, but I've forgotten a lot of it, you know. Because I also make things up as I go along. So, but my grandmom's no longer with us. She's been gone for a little over 20 years. I think she would be sad that I've lost my ability to crochet. But I haven't lost my ability to read books. So they both started at the same time. My first book when I was 9 and crocheting when I was 9. So, also at the same time when I was 9 in that summer of 1982, I had fallen off my bike and I broke my right wrist in 2 different spots, and I'm right-handed. So, I couldn't crochet with a cast on. Remember back in the day they did plaster casts and they bent your elbow and it stayed on for 3 months. I couldn't do anything. So while I couldn't hold the hook and hold the yarn and practice my stitches, my grandma taught me other things. She taught me how to read a pattern, what the brackets mean, the parentheses, the little asterisks, how to repeat inside the pattern, where to start, where to end. Even back in the 80s, in some of the crochet magazines, they started putting in the charts and the graphs in the back with the crochet symbols. So I even learned to start reading them very early on. So I learned all the phrasing, the terminologies, the words, how to read a pattern, and what to do. So I for 3 months, I did nothing but read my grandmom's crochet books, her magazines, her pamphlets, her leaflets. I read them, and her notes in the margins about changing sizes. If you needed something bigger, how to add more chains to it. If you needed something smaller, how to take some of the chains away and still get the size that you wanted. I learned so much even in those 3 months with my cast on. And the funny thing is, when the cast came off, I could no longer hold my hook in a pencil grip. I had to do a knife grip because of the pain in my wrist. So I've been crocheting 40 years, and it had taken on a life of its own. It was something that I did every single day, whether it was 2 hours a day or 10 hours a day. I crocheted every single day. And with blankets being my specialty, I made big blankets, small blankets, and everything in between. I love making blankets, okay? So everybody in my family has a blanket. Now, I mean, everybody. By the time I was 15 years old, I had made a blanket for practically everybody in the family, right? Have to keep an eye on the time. I can only film for 28 minutes at a time with my camera. So next to the blankets that I made for everybody, I also, in 1989, I was 18 years old, and I have a magazine called Work Basket, and it always had sewing patterns in it, maybe some knitting patterns, some other craft stuff, and it always had a crochet pattern in there. They had a crochet pattern for a Christmas tree skirt, and I've been making that Christmas tree skirt because I still have the Work Basket magazine. I've been making Christmas tree skirts since 1989, and I have the first one, and I had screwed it up, and then I had to fix it, and then everybody's got one. My mom's got one, my aunt has one, but I think she made that one herself. My in-laws, brothers, sisters, everybody's got a crochet skirt, tree skirt too. So I loved crocheting. I loved doing it every day. It helped keep my hands busy, and it helped calm my mind down because I do suffer from generalized anxiety. It helped just quiet things down for me, and I've always loved it. I love the yarn, the colors, the textures, the stitches, the combinations that you can do. I love everything about it, but I can't crochet like I used to. I mean, I've only picked up my hook just the other day to see if I could crochet, and I'm actually sitting here rubbing this arm because it's sore. It's only been 3 days, and this arm is sore. Now, it's not excruciatingly painful, but it's sore. So I know that I cannot go back to it. So unfortunately, I can't hold on to everything I own. I'll add in, I did a video clip of all the crochet stuff and all the yarn stuff that I own. Hopefully I can add in a clip and you'll see. We had some family come stay with us and needed a place to stay, and I needed to move my yarn pile out of my living room so they had some place to sleep, right? So all of my current works in progress, the things that I started but didn't finish, the ones that were halfway through, the ones that were mostly done, the leftover yarn that went with it, all the brand new yarn that went with it, my hooks, the scissors, everything got put in bins, boxes, and bags. And I went and looked in my shed because that's where the bulk of it is. It's in the shed in my yard, in my backyard, and I counted it the other day, and I've got 24 between bins, boxes, and bags. And in my house behind you, I have 13 more, and so you're talking over 30 containers between bins, boxes, and bags. I've got over 30 containers of yarn and blankets and books and supplies. So that's a lot of stuff, and I just can't hold on to it anymore. So I will be giving you guys links because when I sell my stuff, I want it to go to people who will enjoy it, people who will use it, and people who will respect it. So I don't have an official eBay shop, but I just have an eBay profile. So when I do sell some of my yarn, I'll put my eBay link down in the description box. I do have an Etsy shop that I opened up back in like 2013 because even then I wanted to sell my finished blankets, but I put it in vacation mode and never did anything with it. I just left it sit. So when my blankets are done, my husband's going to be helping me out. He's going to be writing up the descriptions for them because I have a hard time letting them go, because you'll see a lot of my projects are old. Some of them go back to 2012, 2015, 2017. I'm holding on to a lot of stuff, and So this is me trying to work through the process. I guess it's kind of like a grieving process, you know, the denial, the acceptance, the anger. I think I'm going through a grieving process and I'm going to need some help. So I decided to start a YouTube channel. Posting schedule wise, I'll probably only do it maybe once a week because I do my booktube channel 2 or 3 times a week. Where was I going with all that? You'll find I lose my train of thought a lot. So I need to be working from notes. Oh, I also have a Facebook page that I started, and I did a lot with my Facebook page. I've got like 5,000 people who like it and follow it. I started that back in 2013, and I did keep up with it, posting pictures of things that I made. So I'll leave that link down in the description box too. I had started a blog, but I didn't do too much with it. I think maybe I'll try to like, because I'm gonna show you. I'll show you my notes for patterns that I did, and then I'll let you know if it's a pattern that I didn't create that somebody else did. And if it is something that I did, I will give you my notes so you can make it yourself. So I know it's hard to write notes down as I'm talking, so I will type them up and put them in a blog post. That'll be easier, and maybe with some pictures. So for the most part, you will not find tutorials here. I know there are plenty of crochet channels out there with tutorials, and plenty of channels out there who actually show you crocheting and the stitches and everything. You won't find that here. There are plenty of other people out there who do it, and they will probably do it a lot better than I do. So this is just me going through my journey of having to let crocheting go because of damage to my arm. I hope you guys stick around because I have a lot to go through, and I made some pretty blankets over the years. So, I also have a Ravelry page. It's not under Granny Square Peg, it's under my own personal name, but maybe I could put some notes over there. And they also have a yarn section where you can trade and sell your yarn, so I might look into that too. But I have a lot of stuff to go through, and it's going to be a very long process. It's going to take me a long time to go through it since I've got over 30 bins of stuff. So, give you a small example while we're sitting here. I showed you my books, and I have way more books than what I showed you. I have a whole pile of books. I'm trying to get everything together in one spot, but I have a small house, a husband, 3 kids, 2 cats, not a lot of room. So this is my notebook where I write down notes for blankets that I made on my own without using any of my pattern books or stitch dictionaries. This is stuff I did on my own, which is what I have a tendency to do. Actually, a lot of stuff that I make is because I came up with it myself. So that set of notes there is for this blanket. It's from, do you remember back in 2015, 16, 17, this yarn company? Now, I pronounce it Caron, but I have a feeling it's Caron, because it's a Canadian company. But do you remember when they made this cake yarn? And everybody bought it up, and then they discontinued a bunch of colors, and everybody loved it. Well, I loved it too, but I was late to the party, about a year late. So I have brand new yarn. Like this is, I bought this back in 2017, 2018, and I never used it. It's just been sitting around, and it gets moved from spot to spot. So it's brand new, hasn't been used, so I plan on selling it. Because I have, that is strawberry trifle. It's peaches and tans. I have 2, 3, 4. I have 4 cakes of it. Somebody somewhere can use that to make something beautiful. Right? I'm hoping so. And then I have, this is called Fairy Cake. Do you guys remember this color? Oh, this is so beautiful. I think they still make this color, but I mean, the Caron cakes have gone, I mean, these are the originals, and now they make little tea cakes, and they make cupcakes, and they make thicker yarn. Oh, they went crazy with it in the last couple years. Oh, out of the Fairy Cake, I've got 5 cakes of this. So, I mean, this would make an awesome blanket. Oh, got little fibers flying around. So it is like 80% acrylic and 20% wool, but it's beautiful yarn and I love it. But I can't use it anymore. So what I did was I just picked a random bin to start with. I picked the bin, I sat it on the floor, I took the lid off, and took everything out of the bin to see what I had in there and see what I could do with it. So it's my Karen Cakes bin, and besides the strawberry trifle, which is 4 cakes of that, and the fairy, which is 5 cakes, I have 1 cake of pistachio, which is green and an off-white, I think, or a soft white. I have 2 of rainbow sherbet, and look at those colors. So I have 2 cakes of that. I have 1 cake of strawberry kiwi, which is pinks, oranges, and greens. And this one, I love the earth tones in this. This is fruit cobbler. Oh, it's got peaches and tan, rust red with a blue that looks like a slate blue. I love this, but I won't be able to do anything with it. So this I made back in, I looked at my notes, it says February 2017. Okay, and these are from the Karen Cakes. It's a blanket with a stitch pattern combination that I came up with, but I used 7 different colors, and I only used part of the cake of yarn, and then I have a bunch of little leftovers. I used cherry chip, rainbow sprinkles, lilac frosting, spice cake, lemon lime, bumbleberry, and blueberry cheesecake. So the cherry chip is the reds and pinks down at the bottom, and then the rainbow sprinkles is this pink all the way up to the yellow. And then lilac frosting is the purples and the tans. Spice cake is the oranges. Lemon lime is the greens and the teals. Bumbleberry is this set of purples. And blueberry cheesecake is this set of blues here. So this is the tail end from the last stitch. I haven't sewn it in or weaved it in. And the tail end from the first chain down at the bottom. That's all I need to do with this blanket for it to be done. And it came out beautiful. I absolutely love it. So let's see if you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video on Saturday. So come back on Saturday, and I'm going to show you that blanket and I'll hold the camera and I'll show you the blanket. I'll show you how wide it is, how tall it is, and I will give you my notes on what I did to make it. It is kind of like a linen stitch. You know, a linen stitch is a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and then when you come back on the next row, you do your single crochet in the chain 1 space. So it's kind of like that, but with a different set of numbers. And you know how when you do granny squares, you got that chain 1 in between your 3 double crochets for the granny square, and on your next round, you put your 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like half linen, half granny. What I did was I did a single crochet, then another single crochet, chain 2, and skip 2, single crochet, chain 2, skip 2. When I came back on the next row, I did 3 single crochets in the chain 2 space, and then I chained 2. So it gives this it kind of looks like a granny, but very short because they're single crochets. But it also kind of looks like the linen stitch. So it's got some stretch to it. I think it worked really well with the color blocking that comes from the striping of the Karen Cakes. I think it works really well. So like what I did was I used like the middle section of the cake of yarn, and then the outer section, because the yarn colors were a little shorter, I didn't use them because it would have come up with smaller color blocks. So that was February 2017. Now I wish I could do my projects in order, because I know I've got a project over there from 2012, but I can't reach that one yet. So I made a second blanket in March of 2017, but I used different yarn for that, but with that same pattern. So then I went back to the Karen Cakes, and in August of 2018, I made a second blanket. And this has got rainbow sprinkles as a color. Let's see. Rainbow sprinkles here. And then this yellow, tans, and blues is blueberry cheesecake. Green and the soft white is pistachio. And this peach and the grays and the tans is all strawberry trifle. And then this last bit here is the fruit cobbler. And I love these earth tone colors. So I did 2 blankets with the same pattern with the Karen cakes. And just short of tucking in these tail ends, that's all I need to do to finish them. So I'm going to be selling these 2 blankets, and then I'm going to be selling all this yarn that I bought that I haven't been able to use. So I also have in my box, these are all the leftovers, and what I did was I separated the colors. Okay, like this was from Bumbleberry, this was from the fruit cobbler, this is from pistachio. This is from Rainbow Sprinkles. So I separated all the colors, right? And just to practice to see if I can crochet, which is how I've been figuring it out the last 2 or 3 days, I've been using those little balls from the leftovers and just doing a single crochet, just back and forth, 10-15 minutes a day. And my arm is sore. It's not excruciating, but it's sore. So I hope you guys will come back on Saturday, and I will give you all the details of the blankets. My starting chain. I will show you my chart of the stitches. I will give you my notes in the video, in the YouTube video. I'll give you all my notes, and then I'll also type it up into a blog post, which might be a day or 2 after I do the video. And then in the meantime, I will get to listing these on eBay. I'm going to try eBay first because eBay has a really big buyer-seller base. So I know it sounds like I'm shamelessly promoting myself. I'm not. I just want my stuff to go to a good home, to people who will love it and appreciate it and respect it. That's all I want for it. So thanks for coming along for my very long introductory video. My name is Jenny. My channel name is Granny Square Peg, and if you like today's video, even though it's long and I talk a lot, give it a thumbs up. There's a comment section down below, so drop a comment down below. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Do you crochet? Do you knit? And there's a subscribe button if you want to see more of my journey as I go along in letting go of my crochet stuff and the fact that I actually can't crochet like I used to, and the struggles that I'm going to have. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll be able to see more. It won't always all be sad. It will be okay. I'm learning, I'm processing, so I know I'm going to be okay in the end, but yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a sad one. It's going to be an okay one. So come back on Saturday, and I will see you guys then. Bye.